Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Rotoworld Fantasy Basketball Q&A. I'm Raphielle Johnson, joined as always by Noah Rubin. My apologies for being late. That's on me. I'm in a state where we don't have daylight saving time, and I forgot that we are on Pacific time zone now instead of Mountain. So late and morning basketball kind of got occupied there. So how's everything though?
Things are going well here. It's good to be back doing the Q&As after a few weeks having other things going on. So this will be fun to dive in. I mean, it's fantasy playoffs now, so that's really fun too. I think we were talking about it yesterday. It's fun, but it's also annoying at the same time because I'm in a weekly league and I'm like relying on Victor Wembanyama and Derek White, and then they both get ruled out. And I'm like, nothing I can do at this point. But you know, it's the beauty and the pain of fantasy basketball.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I was lucky in one of my leagues to have Bam Adebayo. Yeah, good night for him to say the least. So,
yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, did all right. So, all right, without further ado, we're gonna get into these questions now. First up is Isaac. Happy Friday to you as well. Looking ahead to 5-game week, second round of the playoffs, 12-team 9-cat head-to-head. You prefer to stream Jordan Goodwin, Bub Carrington, Tristan Vukcevic, Trey Johnson, or Julian Reese, or none?
Ooh. Okay. So the Trey Johnson name obviously pops out, but his minutes have been inconsistent, to say the least. I think it's just kind of Washington's strategy there, just to maximize lottery odds and get a closer look at some other players. So I would knock him out. Julian Reese obviously had the really, really good game, but now he's been inactive in the G League. So unless we're getting more consistency from him, it's going to be difficult. Probably not Jordan Goodwin. He's dealing with a calf injury and hasn't been very good the last 2 games when he's played. Hasn't played a ton. So I think it comes down to Bub or Tristan Vukcevic, who also, I mean, been hurt recently, but he's been pretty good. I think I'd feel safer about Bub Carrington. I guess in a categories league, Vukcevic is probably the better player, but Bub's been getting a ton of minutes consistently, and I'd feel more comfortable. As I guess it does also kind of depend, like, can you deal with him being like pretty inefficient?
Yeah. Even with Trae Young playing last night, he still got 28 minutes. So
yeah,
I think I'm with you on Bub there. I mean, Will Riley should be in the conversation as well, but he's like Trey Johnson, where the minutes he played 33 last night, which is encouraging. So I think that's another option to consider for a 5-game week. But yeah, I think of the guys you have listed here, Isaac, I would say Bub as well. All right. Same league. He's been streaming Danny Wolf for the last 3 games. Is he a rest of the season hold, or at least until I can activate Alsar off IL?
I would say yes. I mean, we have what was it? Day'Ron Sharp got ruled out for the rest of the season yesterday. So Danny Wolf is starting. Like, the production's been up and down, but the minutes should be there consistently, especially now with no Day'Ron Sharp. So I think he's a hold. I don't think that he's like an absolute must roster no matter what type of player, but I would be holding him right now, at least, like you said, until you can get a SAR back, which I think he's questionable was the update I saw. No, doubtful. Okay, never mind. He's not that close.
Yeah, so I'd agree with that. Before, like earlier in the season, it was basically based on Michael Porter Jr.'s availability. Like, if he didn't play, then Danny would start. Now you get Sharp out there. There's another possibility in terms of where he can get minutes, and that's certainly encouraging. I think Josh Minot be an interesting play in Brooklyn as well, given what he did last night. Not expecting that consistently, but you have to think that the playing time is going to be there with no Sharp for the rest of the season. I don't know what the motivation is to play Michael Porter besides not get fined for not playing playing someone who's healthy. But other than that, I think that Danny Wolf is someone worth holding on to for the time being. So.
Yeah, it's crazy that Josh Minot has been such like a prevalent player in fantasy basketball. Just because like early season we were having conversations about him, and then it was bumped out of the rotation. Then now it's like playoff time, and it's like, oh, Josh Minot actually could be a league winner. Just looks very, very different than we thought it could at the beginning of the season.
Okay, and last question from Isaac. If Hartenstein isn't back on Sunday, I'll have 7 games left for him possibly over the final 2 weeks, 1 immediate back-to-back, so you're looking at 6. Do you hold on to him or do you stream that spot and look for a silly season target?
Gosh. I wouldn't hate looking for a silly season target. I mean, it kind of depends on who it is and maybe depending on what categories you need. Because Hartenstein's, I don't know, he's been not very good recently. He's gotten a couple games with good defensive stats, and obviously he's a good rebounder, but the minutes haven't been there very consistently, really, since, I mean, just looking through his game log, like November. So, yeah, I mean, it would depend on who the silly season guy is, but I don't hate that idea.
Yeah, he's another guy where it's far more important for them that he's healthy for the playoffs than these last few games. So even if he is available, it's tough to see him going past like 25 to 27 minutes almost. So, if you can find the right silly season guy, we kind of talked about some of those options in your first 2 questions. I think that's definitely something to consider there. All right. Rizzy McGuire, happy Friday to you as well. Would you drop Jarris Walker for Keon Ellis? Walker been subpar, minutes decreasing. Also, any thoughts on if Dylan Cardwell will return and his impact in these head-to-head league he's dealing with here?
I haven't seen anything about Dylan Cardwell. I don't know if you have.
I think timeline-wise, he should probably be reevaluated sometime next week.
Okay.
So there's a chance you may get some productive games from him, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, out at least 4 weeks. So that'd be next week. I'm not gonna bank on Dylan Cardwell just because it was a pretty lengthy ankle injury, and I mean they're clearly needing to continue to try and improve their lottery odds, try and lose games, frankly. So I guess he is young enough that we could see him return. But I don't know if that means he's going to come in and immediately play 30 minutes. They may limit his minutes. Hard to say at this point. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be I guess keeping an eye out. Maybe some value there. Would I drop Jarris Walker for Keon Ellis?
I don't think I would. I don't think I'd do that. He played 26 last night, but before that, 27 or more in terms of minutes. And a bunch of those games were over 30 minutes. So I wouldn't overreact to one game where his minutes decreased,
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if maybe you need the defensive stats, Jarris Walker's been able to get some steals, but not the same level as Keon Ellis.
Mm-hmm.
But Keon Ellis is coming off the bench. He's also played a decent role off the bench, but I don't know. He has the games where the last 2 games he's been red hot. The game before that he didn't score, but you can get your steal in a block. So if you really, really need more consistent defensive production in a category league, I guess it also is head-to-head.
Yeah.
If it's a category league, you need the defensive production. I think you can probably make that move. I mean, they have 2 more games this week and then 3 games next week, whereas Indiana is the exact same thing. So I think at most situations I'm keeping Jarris Walker.
Yeah. Jiggy, good afternoon to you as well. Scottie Pippen Jr. injured. Is Cam Spencer to pick up again, or are we staying away from Memphis guards?
I think all the Memphis guards are actually back and off the injury report. So except Walter Clayton's doubtful, but Ty Jerome, Cam Spencer, and Javon Small will be the options. So depends on how long Walter Clayton's out. There could be some value here for Cam Spencer. But I don't know if he's the must roster, must add type of player that he's been at other points of this season. just because Scottie Pippen Jr., he's been out for a little bit now. So like just the fact that he's definitely going to be out for a while doesn't make Cam Spencer a must add to me. I think we'd probably need to see like Ty Jerome sitting out as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. Obviously Javon Small would be someone else to consider. I'm not sure. Let me see here. Because I know, let's see, he's played in 31 games. That doesn't mean like he's only been active for 31. He's still on a two-way. So that's something to keep an eye on with him. I would assume he'll have enough room to finish out the season. So that's someone else to consider. But yeah, Jerome's a tricky play because he's productive when out there, but he's only getting like 25 minutes a night. And let's see. Next week, they end the week with a back-to-back, Friday and Saturday. So you're probably looking at a 3-game week for him instead of 4. So, yeah, I think you can pick up any of those guys. It's just a bit risky in terms of Jerome. I think Small, as long as he's active, he should play good minutes. So Small, I like Cam Spencer. Taking a slight hit recently just because everyone's been available, but he's still playing consistent minutes. So I don't know if there's a must pick up with those two, but they're both worth considering for sure. All right. Thoughts on Alex Sarr's 5 games next week? Back-to-backs and limited minutes, I would say. Has me nervous. Would you play him? Jay Huff, CJ. Assume that's CJ McCollum.
That'd be my guess.
Okay, or Julian Champagnie.
I definitely think that Alex Sarr is in that I guess range of you should be kind of nervous about the limited minutes in the back-to-backs. Like we haven't seen him play at both legs of a back-to-back since January, and obviously he's missed a lot of time since then and had his minutes limited. The one saving grace there could be that yes, they play 5 games, but it's not against like tanking teams, so maybe we do see him play extra minutes, but that's not a guarantee. So I'd probably shy away, and I think here I'd probably just feel most comfortable with CJ McCollum. Like Jay Huff having one less game. Ivica Zubac did return last night. Obviously, only played in the first half. But Jay Huff only ended up playing 14 minutes. So, I mean, I'm assuming Zubac isn't playing back-to-back, so I'm assuming he's out, but he's questionable right now. And they do have a back-to-back next week, but that could be 2 games of Jay Huff starting and one of him coming off the bench. So I probably feel most comfortable with CJ McCollum. Julian Champagnie had some really good games, had some really bad games. So McCollum's probably my play.
Yeah, with Huff, even when he starts, he's only getting like 24 minutes a night or something like that. So you add that to the 3 games per week, I don't think there's much to gain from rostering him at this stage. I think McCollum's the safest one of these 3. Now Champagnie can go off from 3, but now you've got Harrison Barnes back in the fold. Champagnie's going to continue to start, but there's just another option for the Spurs to call upon. And I think that makes it a little bit more difficult for him in fantasy. So, yeah, McCollum as well for me. All right, Jeff Martin is in his semifinals, and he's looking for a good Saturday, Sunday streaming option. Philly, Milwaukee, Sacramento are playing back-to-backs.
Well, I did put out the weekend must-starts column, and I think I have Maxime Reynaud as the Sacramento starting option there. For Milwaukee, I had Ryan Rollins. I had Campaign as well. I think all those guys. The Campaign didn't start last night the way we were kind of hoping he would move into the starting lineup with Kelly Oubre being out. Minutes went down a touch, but I still like him as an option. And they play, the Nets and Trailblazers. So the Nets matchup is good. The Bucks play the Hawks and Pacers. The Hawks are playing good defense, but both teams are playing really fast, and the Pacers aren't playing good defense. So that could be favorable. And it's a back-to-back, so Kevin Porter Jr. could miss one of those games. And then the Kings play the Clippers and the Jazz. So Reno could have a really good game against the Jazz. And then the Clippers aren't a great matchup. But I would say those three could be options, maybe depending on what categories you need.
I mean, Precious Achiuwa is still rostered in just 33% of Yahoo leagues too. So if you're in a Yahoo league, I'd search the waiver wire for him in addition to Reno. I think Achiuwa's been a bit more explosive in terms of the numbers, but can be kind of like feast or famine with him at times. But either way, I think either of those guys are really good options. Philly's kind of tough just because I don't really know if any of those like guys who would probably be available are the most dependable in terms of streaming value. So probably stay away from them. It's Ryan Rollins as well if he's available. But I think Reno and Achiuwa are the two I'd focus on. You can probably throw Nick Clifford in the mix as well. So I think Sacramento's a team I would focus on of these three if you're looking for streaming options. All right. Jakob Poeltl's dropped in my league. Should I swap my Peyton Watson for him? He's got the semifinals next week.
That's interesting timing for Poeltl to be dropped. Like I know he didn't play super well in their last game, but like he's been pretty good the past couple of weeks, like really since the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I would. I think Peyton Watson obviously was really, really good earlier in the season, but Denver's pretty healthy. Watson should be reevaluated or back pretty soon, but that doesn't mean that he's going to get the same minutes that he was getting earlier this season or the same usage. So I'd rather have a starting center, Jakob Poeltl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and plus the other thing, if Watson were to get cleared at the beginning of the week, they have a back-to-back on Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's not very difficult to envision 4 games becoming 3 for him, plus a potential minutes restriction. So, yeah, I think that would be a good move for your team as well. All right. Matt, good afternoon. 10-team Yahoo Points League, playoffs start next week. Would you drop Nick Clifford or Jarris Walker for Wendell Carter? Orlando plays 4 games and starts next week with a Monday, Tuesday back-to-back.
Just don't see Wendell having the same upside that the other two do. I know you do get the extra game. I'm assuming based on this that the Pacers probably only have 3 games next week. Yep. And that the Kings do as well. So just looking at matchups, I think I could consider dropping Jarris Walker for Wendell Carter to get the extra game. The Kings play the Spurs, which is a tough matchup, and they play the Sixers and Nets, which are struggling defenses. And then the Pacers play the Knicks, tough defense. Portland's been average defense, and the Spurs, tough defense. So I'd rather just based off matchups keep Clifford than Jarris Walker and get that extra game from Wendell.
Yeah, I would drop Jarris Walker and not really think twice about it. I think Carter can be a bit shaky in terms of the category league production, or points leagues too. But I think extra game, and he's been playing pretty well recently. Jarris Walker, we discussed him earlier. I think he's the one that I would drop of these two for sure. All right, Chad, welcome back. With a second seemingly strong finish, is his dynasty stock trending towards Keyshawn George state range, or is he purely a Day'Ron Sharpe perfect storm asset?
I wouldn't say he's trending towards Keyshawn George range because I had Keyshawn George considerably higher. It will be another strong finish for Collier during Mickey Mouse March, but I don't think that means that, we know what he can be, what he can do. Yeah. We know he can be a really, really good source of assists. And he's definitely improved as a scorer this year. Like there's a lot to like when he gets the opportunity. But we're looking at some of his best games, and he played 48 minutes in back-to-back games before the All-Star break. Like those type of situations aren't going to happen starting next season, frankly, when Utah is going to try and win games. Yeah. And Keontae George is the starting point guard. So Isaiah Collier is going to be a pretty good source of assists off the bench, actually. But unless he's playing somewhere else and starting, and even then, is he talented enough to be the starting point guard in a playoff team? Don't know yet.
Yeah.
He still is obviously incredibly young, and will have the chance to develop into that. But no, Keyshawn George is like a top 75 range type of dynasty asset, and Collier's, gosh, I don't remember where I had him in my dynasty rankings, but I would say top 150, top 175. So not the same. I think Dayron Sharp is maybe closer in range.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like Collier would be closer to Dayron than he would Keyshawn George. You can see potential there, but I think we discussed it before. Like the way that Keontae George played for most of this season, it's quite clear that they feel comfortable with him being their starting point guard moving into the future. So that kind of caps Collier's ceiling right there. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Like maybe they look to move somebody. I don't know because they have kind of a logjam in the front court, especially if they re-sign Walker Kessler. You assume that's what's going to happen. He's a restricted free agent. So are they really going to go with that jumbo front court with Markkanen, Jackson, and Kessler? I don't know. I'm intrigued to see what Utah does this offseason with another lottery pick, provided they hold on to it, of course. But yeah, I think Collier, I wouldn't put him in the Keyshawn George category either, but you can definitely see the potential there. It's just that the situation's not great in terms of playing the minutes you need to be like a really impactful, point guard in fantasy. All right, please rank for next week. Jarris Walker, Dante DiVincenzo, Jordan Goodwin, Oso Ighodaro. And he's got the games played in parentheses there.
I know you're getting the games played, but I'd probably have Goodwin last.
Yeah.
Just hasn't done a ton. Maybe Dante's been rough. He's been just so like up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'd go Oso, Dante, Jarris, then Goodwin last, just because you are getting the 5 games from Oso Ighodaro. So like, even if he does have some bets, like just looking at the last 3 games, which Minnesota has lost all of them, but like Dante DiVincenzo's really struggled.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do like getting 5 games out of Oso.
Yeah, his minutes have been a bit limited recently. I think he played 36 against the Bulls. Was that his first start for Mark Williams? Yeah, that was his first start. He hasn't played more than 28 in the 4 games since. But 5 games, with no Mark Williams, I think he's worth a look. So I would go with him 1. Actually, I'd go with him 2. I'll take Dante 1. I know he struggled, but I feel like his role is a bit more secure. And plus, you got Kaman Malawach kind of waiting in the wings in Phoenix. He's been getting a little more run recently. So we'll see what happens there. But I think I'd go Dante 1, Oso 2, Jarris 3, and then Goodwin 4, solely because of the potential for a minutes limit because he's just coming back from that calf injury. So. Evelyn, good afternoon. Should I hold Andrew Nembhard head-to-head? They only play 2 games next week due to a back-to-back. Can use this spot to stream in Royce O'Neal with a 5-game week.
I think I'm. Yeah, you probably like that's just too many extra games. You probably should. You Royce O'Neal. I'm not like. I think Neymar will probably still be pretty good. Like you're right, he probably won't play the back-to-back, but I'm assuming he'll play in New York and then at San Antonio, and those are 2 teams that are going to beat the Pacers. So he'll probably play a pretty normal role. But Royce O'Neal 5 games, like, yeah, I think you probably just need to do that unless you need something very specific like assists.
Because even if Nembhard plays, he's not guaranteed to play like starters minutes. So
or second half.
That's got to be really frustrating for people who have him rostered. But yeah, I think I would make that move as well because it'd be one thing if you could count on him playing 30 plus minutes in those 2 games. Therefore, you get 2 like legit games, but you can't even count on that. So yeah, I think that would be a decent move, especially if you're just needing like 3-pointers and steals, Royce O'Neal can definitely help you in those areas. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea on your part. No, you've not seen this much top of my head ever because I usually wear a hat. But we're running late today. Let me see something really quick. Where's the score? Oh, wow. Okay. All right. If anyone has any interest, Michigan did hang on to beat Ohio State today. But all right. J-Dub and iHeart dropped. Should I pick up either one for Cam Payne or Jarris Walker? IL is full and the playoffs start in 2 weeks. I'd pick up J-Dub.
Yeah.
For Jarris, easily.
Yeah, I think that's Hartenstein, I think, doesn't have the same type of upside that makes me want to like drop what I'm doing and go pick him up. But like, yeah, Jalen Williams is definitely a guy that you could consider picking up. That's just so much upside.
Yeah, so even if you don't know for sure if he'll be back for like a full run in the playoff weeks, he's like a top 50 player, and that's being conservative. Like, yeah, I wouldn't even hesitate to pick him up. I know Cam Payne's not starting because they want the ball in Edgecombe's hands a bit more in Philly right now, but he's still playing solid minutes. I think I would hold on to him, but Jarris Walker, I feel like I could easily part with him for Jalen Williams.
Yeah.
All right. You got another Javon Small question. What are our thoughts on him being worth an ad with Memphis playing 4 games a week from here on out? Yeah, I think fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
We might as well get to this one. Is he must roster now? I don't know if I'd go that far, but you can certainly justify picking him up.
Yeah, I think especially with that they do have one back-to-back, so that's an absence for Ty Jerome. Yeah. He started every other game Javon Small has, but when he's come off the bench, like he had 12 points, 5 boards, and 7 assists in 26 minutes. The other game only 15 minutes. But I think especially like with Walter Clayton Jr., if he ends up missing a few games, they're gonna get Javon Small minutes.
Yeah. All right. Chad, it's been a night in the ER. I hope you're feeling better, Chad. You missed a lineup set, so I'm chasing points and drop Cam Johnson for Bryce Sensabaugh with the plan to stream that spot for the rest of the weekend. Was that the right call? And he's still up about 20 points in his matchup.
I mean, like Cam Johnson plays 1 game. I think Utah plays 2. So yes.
Yeah.
I like that call.
Yeah. You got 1 game against the Lakers or games against Portland and Sacramento. The Portland game can be a bit tricky just because you got guys like Kamara and Thibault who can really defend. But I think that was a good move on your part, just solely because of that Sacramento matchup. Like I could see Bryce Sensabaugh going off in that game for sure. All right. K-Ron the Great, good afternoon. Should I drop Keontae George due to his injury and I'm currently in the playoffs?
Yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be rostered. He's like genuinely would be surprised if he plays again this season.
Even better if you can get Isaiah Collier for him.
Yep.
All right, Troy, good afternoon. Week 1 of the playoffs, 12-team head-to-head 9-cat. His droppable guys are Kyle Filipowski, Nick Clifford, Oso Godaro, Grayson Allen, Cam Payne. He's got KPJ and Jalen Smith on IL. Currently up 8-1, wants to focus more on next week and moving forward. Who do you recommend I drop for streaming purposes, 5 weekly moves? And who do you recommend that I drop for guys in my IL spots?
So I'm not dropping, if you're looking ahead to next week, I'm not dropping Oso Godaro. Filipowski has 3 games next week. I think Nick Clifford has 3 games next week is what we were talking about earlier. That means Grayson Allen will have 5 games. And then Cam Payne has 3 games as well. So definitely holding Oso and Grayson Allen. Do you drop Jalen Smith? Because I feel like you can't drop Kevin Porter Jr. now that he's back, even if like he does miss back-to-backs or he does have his minutes limited. Like he's just been good and he's starting.
Because
I don't know. What do you think?
That's tough because the Bulls have 3 games next week, but they have 4 the following week. So, man, I'd rather not drop Jalen Smith, but I can certainly see the argument for doing it. Boy, I think I would drop Payne to make room for Porter. I would do that. The other move, this one's tough. It's like, do you drop Filipowski? I'd want to hold on to Nick Clifford because he's going to play like mid-30s in minutes pretty much every night, I think, from here on out.
And Campaign is not a player that I'm like actively wanting to drop just based on how good he's been the last couple games. But you can also look at that as like, if you're just looking for a justification there, like, yes, he had this fluky game and he's never going to shoot 90% from the floor. Like I think 8 of 8 from 3. But then you look at the schedule and it's like next week it's Denver and then Sacramento and Utah, two not very good defenses. So you could see him having some good games. I don't know. I feel like I'd probably just drop Campaign to keep Kevin Porter Jr. and then probably drop Jalen Smith and keep Filipowski and Nick Clifford is probably what I'd be looking to do, just kind of, I guess, to make a decision.
Yeah, their teams are in similar spots in the standings, but Smith's coming off of an injury while the other two have been relatively healthy. So you can certainly envision a scenario where Smith doesn't play heavy minutes the rest of the season. Let me see what he played last night. So I know he started. Okay, he played 30 minutes, so that's good. You didn't get any defensive stats from him, so that's not good, obviously. But, yeah, I think he's the one I would probably drop of those. I would drop him. And Payne, as good as he's been, I think you have Kevin Porter Jr. I think you can justify dropping Payne as well. So. All right. Crusader 1932, dealing with injuries and players that currently aren't playing back-to-backs. I picked up Tristan da Silva and Daniel Gafford. How do you think they should do the rest of the season? Are there any other guys I should look for?
Let's see. Gafford, obviously da Silva had career high last night. Or was it career high or just season high?
Last night, career high. Yep.
Career high. Okay. Daniel Gafford's been a beast. The back-to-backs, that's probably going to be an issue, I guess. He's not expected to not expected to play tonight just based off of not playing back-to-backs. And then they have another back-to-back on Sunday and Monday. So I guess the hope would be, depending on when you need him, that he plays in one of those games that you need him more in. But say he plays Sunday and then doesn't play Monday, then it's only a 2-game week for him next week. But I expect when he's on the floor that he's going to be good. Da Silva, it's a little bit more dependent on who's going to be available for Orlando. Like he's been starting a lot recently. But I think Franz, I don't even remember what the timeline is on him. But as long as he's out, then Da Silva is going to start.
Yeah.
And he's been pretty good recently. So expecting that to continue until it doesn't, which is going to be when Franz or would it actually be, I guess it'd be Anthony Black coming back, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because I think he was starting with Jalen Suggs out, and then Suggs came back, and then now Anthony Black's out. So,
I think it first started when Wagner went down. is when De Silva moved. Well, actually, yeah, you're right. You're right. Because Black was Suggs was the second injury, and that's when De Silva moved into the starting lineup. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, well, Anthony Black's still going to be out for a few more games. So I guess, ride the hot hand with Tristan De Silva. I don't know about rest of season, but there's a chance that he's still starting for the rest of your fantasy playoffs, depending on when that started.
Yeah, I think you're in a good spot with both of those guys in terms of like their production recently and their current roles. Like Gafford doesn't need to play 30-plus minutes to provide good value, as we've seen. So biggest concern there are the back-to-backs. But I think you're in a good spot there. Anyone else to look out for? I don't really have any names off the top of the head. I would probably just kind of, if you have a streaming spot, just kind of cherry pick teams that have good schedules. Obviously, Phoenix and Washington next week with 5 games each would be 2 teams to kind of scour for some later round value, I guess you would say. But yeah, that's what I would do. I think you're in a good spot with De Silva and Gafford for sure. All right. 12-team Yahoo Points League for next week. Would you rather have Oso, Will Riley, or Javon Small?
Probably. I think Will Riley. I think in a points league, just the most upside there, getting 5 games out of him.
Yeah.
I think that's probably I think in a points league, Will Riley.
I'm going to go Javon Small instead of Riley. I think we talked about the way that Washington's kind of handled their rotation in terms of minutes. I think Riley should be safe, but you never know. So I feel a little bit better about Javon Small, even with 1 less game. So, and apparently, DeAndre Ayton's dropped in this league.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I can't. You can't get me to hop on that bandwagon again. So yeah, I think just consider the 3 guys you have listed here. Now, if Ayton turns into an elite center over the weekend they play Denver on Saturday, right?
It sounds right.
Let's see here. Yeah, they host Denver on Saturday. So if you were to put up a Jokic-like performance against Jokic, you can revisit it then. But I don't see a reason to pick him up.
Yeah, you could even see him have a good performance against Jokic this weekend, just because I think we've seen that often that centers have good games against Jokic. But I think heading into next week, I'm not dying to have DeAndre Ayton.
Mm-hmm. All right. I need steals for streaming this week. Who can we recommend? Ryan Dunn was already picked up.
Or was it Chris Dunn?
Chris Dunn, yeah.
I'm not sure. It genuinely actually could be both. I think my name pull that should be available would be Justin Edwards, who last 3 games has 7 steals, and started in their last game, had 12 points, 9 boards, 5 assists, and 4 steals. Played 29 minutes. So okay, cool. So Chris, but he's starting. Plays 2 more games this week, so I'm assuming it's for this week, the rest of the weekend. So you're getting 2 games. We got to have 7 steals over his last 3. There you go.
Yeah, it's a good call. Good schedule. Not sure if Sacramento really has anybody who would be worth. Yeah, no. So yeah, I think Justin Edwards would be a good call there in terms of a streaming option. So,
if you're looking for a Sacramento option, I guess it would be Nick Clifford, who has 6 steals over his last 3. But that's another good one too, and you may get more offensive upside from Nick Clifford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Justin Edwards on the 76ers. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, which side do we prefer? Steph Castle, DeJounte Murray, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Will Riley, I would assume, and Oso.
Dang. That's a tough one. Because obviously Jalen Johnson being the best player in the deal, but players 2, 3, and 4 are Castle, DeJounte, and Dyson, not necessarily in that order. But then if you're looking like just next week, you're talking about Will Riley and Oso Gadaro, who each have 5 games. There's a little bit of value there. So maybe kind of depend. Like if your fantasy championship is next week, I'd almost rather have Jalen Johnson and 5 games from 2 different players than let's see how many games some of these play. Raph, are you muted or can I just not?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
DeJounte's got a midweek back-to-back. So instead of 4 games, he'll have 3.
Yeah.
Next week. So
Dyson has 4 games next week, but he also just missed a game with a toe injury. But he's actually been really good. And Castle's had a triple-double. Ooh. I'll say this. Category league, I'll take Castle, DeJounte, and Dyson. Points league, I'll take, the maximized games played. Jalen Johnson, Will Riley, Oso Gadaro. So I'm not sure the scoring format, but whatever it is, that's kind of my answer.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean Castle, DeJounte, and Dyson. Even with one less game for DeJounte next week. I think he can be good in the other 3 games for sure. And then what Castle and Dyson have done recently, I don't think you can pass that up for the hope that Riley and Oso give you a bit more with the extra game. So, yeah, I'll take the Castle, DeJounte, and Dyson side. All right. Looks like – are you saying you picked up Nick Clifford just now or someone already has him? This is going back to his steals question from earlier.
And maybe he is picked up, but
okay. Is Huff nearing a drop with Zubats back? Should I drop him for De Silva or hold?
I would be fine dropping him for De Silva. I think unless you're really needing his blocks, I'd be fine dropping him for De Silva.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. If you need to drop one for streaming, do you drop Oso or Tari Eason?
I think I'm dropping Tari Eason unless you really, really need the defensive production, which actually has been kind of down specifically. I guess not that much down over the past couple weeks. It's just the field goal percentage has been so rough recently.
Yeah.
I'd rather get the 5 games out of Oso. Yeah.
Yeah. Eason hasn't done enough to make that like a tough decision for me. I would drop him as well. All right. Mr. Smiggy would like to know which teams are playing the most next week. You got Phoenix and Washington playing 5 games. So those are your 2 teams that will be the busiest during week 21. Everyone else plays either 3 or 4 games. So, yeah, you got 2 5-game weeks to pick from if you're looking for some streaming options there. All right.
Cool. Oh, we may have gotten Dylan Cardwell update. So I just see that notification on Basketball Monster. Let me see if I can quickly find that. He's practicing today.
Okay.
So maybe he could be back soon, which is cool. Maybe there is some Dylan Cardwell silly season production there, but I mean, it's going to be boards and defensive stats.
Yeah.
We know that's what it's going to be.
I wonder if we get him for a game at the end of this week too, with that back-to-back. So
very possible.
see if there's anything else news-wise that's come up. Looks like that's about it. Still
How
waiting.
are your fantasy playoffs going, Ref?
Well, I'm in one in the 30 deep. That's where I had Bam. We're currently tied 4-4-1 into the weekend. So
What's the one?
I can pull that up right now.
If it's turnovers, that's the worst. Is it? Oh my goodness. That's the worst.
Actually, no, it's 3-pointers.
Okay. Because then it's like you can like target something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like turnovers is the worst, and then percentages, and then anything it's like, okay, like I can stream in somebody where it's like they should help me. It's like, do they or do they not? But like turnovers, it's like I still got to win other categories, but
yeah, I think because the tough thing about this league is that you have to set your lineups on Monday. So
yeah,
you're kind of just stuck for the whole week. But
that's like the weekly lineups. Was when we were talking about it yesterday. Or I guess I mentioned earlier. I have Wemby, Derek White, and Russell Westbrook missed a game already. But the guy I'm playing has missed 2 Tyler Hero games and now has Karl Anthony Towns doubtful. So hopefully this evens things out. It's like literally just going to be who can have the most availability, which is, fantasy basketball in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's rough. It's like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to kind of figure out where you should end your leagues just because of the injuries and injury management, draft lottery, all that stuff. So got one more question here. When would be your cutoff to drop Andrew Wiggins if we don't get an update anytime soon?
I'd say if you're about to be eliminated from the playoffs, then be happy to drop him and try and stream somebody in that can help you. But if you're going to still be alive, then I would just play it patient because he's been very good this year.
Yep, agreed. How many you started your playoffs yet in your league so far?
Yeah, so I have the 30-team Dynasty that I'm in the semifinals in. Okay. It's actually crazy. I think I'm in 3 playoffs right now, and all 3 are semifinals. And in the other side of the semifinals, somebody had Bam Adebayo, which is like just sheer just luck. I have my home Dynasty league where I'm in the semifinals. So the 30-team one, I'm down 5-4. My home league, I think I'm up 7-2 now. It was 4-4-1 with the one being turnovers entering yesterday. And then the other one's our like Rotoworld high score league, where I'm probably going to lose to DJ because he had Jokic drop 90 and Montes Buzelis drop 63. Jeez. So I'm going to need some big time performances to have a chance.
Yeah, it looks like I'm going to end up getting bounced from our Dynasty startup league.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, kind of slumped down the stretch. It's like the beef stew suspension just started like a tidal wave of just.
Let's see. Well, at least you got Kawhi, and I'm looking at it. You're gonna need some Kawhi magic tonight.
Yeah. Oh well. All right, we'll get out with this last question from Matt. How do you guys approach bye weeks? Do you save most of your ads until the end of the week?
Yeah, I would say unless there's like a clear one where it's like, for example, Keontae George injuring his hamstring, Isaiah Collier sitting there if he is or if he was, then like, it's towards the end of the week. But like, trying to wait till Saturday or Sunday. I guess the other situation would be like something like next week where it's like the Suns and Wizards play 5 games. Okay, like let's go ahead and get out ahead of that and get one or two of those guys in there. But yeah, trying to save at least 1 or 2. That way, if something happens, like you have a move to make.
Yeah, probably don't do too much unless there's a major injury where you can pinpoint someone. And then, like Noah said, towards the end of the week, you have a little bit more leeway to make some moves, and then you go from there. All right. Well, It's 3 o'clock. That means that we are done for this week. We will be back next week for what will be the final Q&A of this season. Thanks again for tuning in to ask some really good questions, and good luck with your matchups this weekend.